Welcome to Northernlights. I'm Dwain.
I'm Mark.
And today we're going to go over our bets and wildcard predictions for UFC 276. So it's just a fun one, this, and we're just going to go over a few different fights and sort of what we're putting our bets on this week. So I'm going with Sean versus Pedro. I'm going to go Sean O'Malley knockout round 3. So it's about 10-1 because I feel like I don't know if it'll actually be a proper knockout, but at least a TKO, maybe by just too many strikes, like a referee stoppage.
Yeah, well, Pedro's like we've seen before in predictions, that is very seasoned, and I don't think Sean will be able to get him out of there. I think there's even some doubts as well from the press conference. See, I've actually gone through similar thought processes, but I don't think Sean will get it done. So I've gone Sean by decision, which comes in at 7-4, which £10 would get you only about £27.50-ish. Yeah. So you're like, well, I know it's not exactly big Las Vegas bets, but it's what I think will happen,
Yeah, and that's the thing, it's good to win a couple of quid, isn't it? Even if it's, especially if you think that's what's actually going to happen, because that really could happen because Sean's so tall, he could easily keep Pedro away. So yeah, that seems very, very likely. But
especially if you're as tight as me, then winning a couple of quid is a lot more glorious.
So, what do you think about Volk versus Holloway? What are you thinking for that?
Well, similar to my predictions as well. I'm just keeping these. My bets are very similar this week to my predictions, and I think Volk wants to put a stamp on this trilogy for sure because there's still doubters about the first two fights. I think he just wants to put it behind him. I think he's going to come out with a bit of a vengeance and try and get a finish. Now, any finish, not just knockout or anything, is about 4-1. So, of tenner, you win 40 quid, something like that.
Yeah.
Just because I think it very much could well happen.
Yeah, you're definitely right. That's what he's coming out for, isn't it? Like we've said it before, it feels like he's a champion, but he still has to prove something. You think, well, that should be happening. But going off that, I agree with you. I think he is going to go for a finish, and I think he might make some silly mistakes doing that. He's going to leave himself open. So I think he's going to get caught doing something a bit crazy, and Holloway's going to knock him out. And if Holloway wins by KO, that's 6-1. So if I put 10 quid on that, I'll get 60 quid, which is, it's not half bad. And I think that could actually happen, because if you're going for crazy stuff and trying to get a finish, you get desperate and you leave yourself open. And don't forget what Holloway did drop Volk a couple of times, hasn't he, between their fights? So at least
he dropped into his knee. I mean, yeah. Whatever happens with that fight, everyone's a winner. To be honest, I don't see this one being a boring fight. I mean, Jesus, in the press conference, we got told enough times to watch out on Saturday night from Max. You can get Wigfield doing the famous song again. Moving on, the main event, Dwayne, what have you got there?
So it's a difficult one because I've been talking about Jared Cannonier, and I think people are really underestimating him. And I know in our prediction said, it'll probably be a knockout. But I think Jared's a pretty tough cookie. He's fought some really big heavyweights before. So I don't think Izzy's got enough power to finish him. So I think Izzy's going to win by decision, which isn't great. It's like 6-5. So I'd only get like 20. I'd win about 20 quid off £10 off that, 12 quid thereabouts. So I won't get a lot, but I just feel like I think it's going to be an unexciting fight, to be honest. I think we're going to get another Izzy just playing it slow and being careful, sort of like.
I think he's, even more than anyone, he's well aware of Jared's power, kind of stuff, But speaking of the power, this is just a bit, I always do it. Like, this is always my wallet speaking, not my head. It's just, I always go for the quite heavy underdog.
Yeah. Especially
when I think Jared's got more than a puncher's chance, but Izzy's just levels above everyone else in that division, isn't it? This is the first time that he hasn't, looped the division for a little bit now, since the Costa fight in the middleweight division. But I've gone Jared to finish Izzy, any finish as well. That is 5-1. So tenner will get me 50 quid. You know, I'm just like, I think it could well happen. It's probably not going to. Put it this way: if it happens, I'll be surprised, but I'll be an happy boy.
Yeah, well, it really could happen, and I'd kind of love it if it did, because I think, you know, I love seeing Izzy fight, and he's great, but I really want this division shook up now. And if Garrett can get a knockout, that'll be amazing. That'll just really throw a spanner in the works.
Do want a big, and you feel like it's his last chance as well, because what is it, 38 or something?
Yeah.
So you're a bit like, you know, this probably will be his last chance. So if he gets it done, go out on a high, you know, fair enough. But in that being said, I think Izzy's definitely going to get
more likely, yeah.
But you got any wild card bets this week?
Yeah, so my wild card bets, it slightly contradicts what I said with Sean, but I think it's worth a punt. So I've put on Pereira versus O'Malley, both to finish in round 1, which is 20-1. So if I put 10 quid on that, I'll get 200 quid. And I think it's one of those that really could happen. You know I'm saying Pedro's hard to finish and stuff, but, you know, Sean's just so tall and he has got knockout power. You know, he could just come out with a big front kick and just, you know, we could get Tony Ferguson, and Pereira could easily knock out Strickland. Really, really easy.
I like how that's an adjective now. He could get Tony Ferguson.
Tony Ferguson. But yeah, that's what I'm going for that.
Yeah, I think. Well, especially with the wild card bets, that's the whole point of it, isn't it? You know, whether it's a contradiction or not, you just see the juicy outcome and you just think
it's a bit of fun, isn't it? That's the point.
Let's go, yeah. So I've actually gone for, similar to our last betting video, I've gone for Max and Volkanovski to end in a draw, just because of, I don't think Lightning will strike a third time with a razor close fight. But if it does, and then we'll just be like a kind of limbo, a purgatory of, are these two going to fight forever? And I think if that was to happen, then it wouldn't solidify any case. No. Wouldn't solidify Alex. Max would probably be annoyed, and all his fans would be still, who would still deny it. But a draw comes in at 67-1. So £10 get me 670 quid. And just for a tenner, it's like, well,
that's worth putting on, isn't it? That's worth putting on, because if any fight's going to be a draw, it would be those two, I think, because they are so razor close.
Yeah, I think so. But then again, though, like someone said in the comments from our predictions, you said that I don't think Mark's going to be finished, so you just doomed him anyway. It's your curse striking again. You're like, more cursed Uncle Chael.
Oh, gosh. Well, I do think that's all we've got time for. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We will be streaming our reactions to 276. So if you're around, come and say hello. If you can like, comment, and subscribe, it really does help us out.